Welcome back. I'm Emily at Emily's podcast, Tribute to All Little Angels, Part 5, Episode 7 of Refresh Our Memory. Beginning this week with another July episode, July 22nd, 2022. This morning after breakfast, I mentioned to Madison what we need to get done before Monday. Madison has said when she got a little time she would get it done. And with no doubt, I know she will. 7:03 p.m. I sent Susie a message. I sent her the introduction I practice writing to see what she thinks. I wrote 7.22.2022, written at 6:51 p.m. Introduction to the podcast. Hello, let me introduce myself. I'm Emily at Emily's podcast. I have a story to share and would like you to listen. They don't have a voice. Let's get this fixed for the angels, because that's what this is, a tribute to all little angels. I wrote, what do you think, or do you think it needs changes? No rush though, just let me know. I did listen to a little bit of a podcast earlier, and then I did get a few ideas, and this is what started popping in my mind. So this is what I came up with. 7:06 p.m. I messaged Jen. I wrote, no hurry, I know you might be busy, but I need an introduction for a podcast. And I sent the same introduction I had written that I sent to Susie. I wrote, what do you think about this? Let me know when you can. Jen wrote, I will look at it after we get dinner. I wrote, yes, that's fine. 7:10 p.m. Susie calls. She called to talk about my message to her. Susie and I worked on the introduction together, and we did change some things. It now says, hello, let me introduce myself. I'm Emily. This is my podcast. I would like to tell you a story. I'm asking you to listen, and you may find, or someone you know, may be going through a similar situation. I have been going back and forth with the city over a cemetery issue, and water does move headstones. They don't have a voice, but I do. You do. We do. Let's fix this, because that's what this is, a tribute to all little angels. Susie and I then talked about what I did today, and she did ask if we could finish working on it tomorrow evening. And of course we can. Susie then helped me set up Google Chrome icon on the bottom bar of my computer, so I can just click the icon on instead of searching for it. And thank you, Susie, so much. And while on the phone with Susie, I messaged Jen. 7:28 p.m. I wrote, we've made some changes. Let me know what to add or to not add anything. And I sent the introduction with the changes to Jen. Susie and I also talked of, at the beginning of every meeting on the podcast, I tell the public what the episode is. Like to start, as an example, tell them part 1, episode 1, then the second episode, part 1, episode 2. Susie then asked, now we have to think of how many episodes we want to do in a week. I said, okay, let me start with this introduction and read for 45 minutes to see how far I get. Then we will know. Susie said yes. All right. And a short time later, we finished up and let each other go. And thank you, Susie, again. 8:25 p.m. Jen wrote, I like that just how you have it. 8:55 p.m., I wrote, which one, the first one or the second one? Jen wrote, the changed one. I wrote, all right, thank you. And it is now 9:05 p.m. I'm going to read my introduction with the first part of my story and give the time frame of the first episode. I did do that, and I got it done. And I'm so proud of myself for the first try. Although my voice does sound scratchy, but then after the volume was adjusted, it does sound better. I listened to it a few times, and then I wanted to see what Susie thought. So at 9:20 p.m., I called Susie, and she had to call me back. She had a chance to listen and said, you did good. I said, thank you. We are one step closer. Susie said, yes, we are. And we didn't talk much longer, and we let each other go. Although at 10:31 p.m., I messaged Susie. I wrote, I'm in May of 2017. It does need editing. Susie wrote, all right. Susie and I had talked about when the second part started in the timeline, and at the time she asked me that, I couldn't remember the date, but I told her I will look. July 23rd, 2022. Today I spent the afternoon editing my timeline. I did notice, as any writer does, I'm writing in the present time, then writing in past tense. 1:32 p.m., Madison and I went to the cemetery. You know, to check on things. I did take pictures, and as I sit here with my angels, I think, I know at times I feel frustrated. I feel ignored, but there's no way that I'm giving up. And I do have tears in my eyes. And a short time later, we left the cemetery. 7:01 p.m., Susie called. We talked for about 50 minutes. We had some loose ends to tie up on the podcast, but we did get them done. 8:04 p.m., Susie asked again, Sis, are you sure you're ready for this? She has asked me this several times, and I keep telling her, I am. 8:32 p.m., Madison calls. I let Susie go to talk to Madison. Then at 8:41, I call Susie, and we finish up talking, and I told her again, Susie, thank you so much. And after we hung up, I went back in the timeline to see when and what date the second part starts. 9:42 p.m., I sent Susie a message. I wrote, in the timeline, part 2 starts on March 29th, 2020. Susie wrote, all right, thank you. July 24th, 2022. 12:15 a.m., my friend Lisa called. We talked for over an hour. We were just catching up. When we don't talk for a few days, it does give us something to talk about. 11:33 a.m., Patty called. I missed her call, but I called her back at 11:36 a.m. She did not answer. At 4:09 p.m., I called Lisa. We only talked for about 20 minutes. Her aunt beeped in, so we let each other go. I did tell Lisa about the podcast, and Lisa does seem happy. 8:32 p.m., I messaged Susie. I wrote, Sister, I didn't get anything done today. We went to clean a house, and when I got back home, I think because of the heat, I fell asleep. I'm going to do the pictures later or tomorrow, and I will get it done so I can get it in the mail to you. I'm sorry. I'm beat. Susie wrote, it's okay. I understand. I love you lots. I wrote thank you, and I love you too. Susie wrote you are welcome. 8:45 p.m. I sent Susie a picture of a red cardinal sitting on the fence. I wrote, look who's visiting. Susie wrote, awesome. 9:02 p.m. my granddaughter Zoe calls and wants to come over and spend the night. Madison and I left to go pick her up, and as we left her mom's driveway, driving down the street, Madison said, look at that shooting star. Zoe and I both look, and all three of us see the shooting star. And of course, I made a wish. We got back home safely and got ready for bed. And I have a lot to be grateful for, and I certainly am. I said thank you, looking up. July 25th, 2022. This morning. Oh no. I don't know why I'm feeling like this, but for some reason when I woke up this morning, I feel nervous. I feel doubtful. When Madison woke up, I said, woo-wee, baby. I don't know what's going on, but I have a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. I feel like something is wrong. I just can't put my finger on it. Madison asked, are you okay? I said, I am. I hope so. I went into my bedroom to sit on the edge of the bed to talk to God and my angels. And after I talked with them, I had to get out of the house to break this feeling. It did seem to work. The feeling left me, and I did start to feel better. I did work on the pictures the rest of the evening, waiting for Susie to call. At 7:27 p.m., Susie messaged. She wrote, hey there. I wrote, hey. She wrote, were you able to get it recorded? I will call you in a little while after I get something to eat. I wrote, what are you doing? I'm getting the pictures ready. No recording yet. I didn't do anything yesterday, and this morning I had errands to run, but when I got back, I did finish the pictures. I did find some more evidence, and I have written it all down so I don't forget. Susie wrote, oh, all right. I will call you in a little while. 8 p.m. Susie calls. We talked for about 13 minutes. She has some other things to get done, and I'm working on the pictures, so we didn't talk long. We are both excited about the recording. July 26, 2022. I feel so much better this morning than yesterday morning, and thank God. I did work on the pictures. I got them in order. I went back through them to see if there was any more differences and I could find in the pictures. And I'm so amazed of how many differences in just one picture. In different pictures, you can find it. And if you just look, I know you would find it. 8:29 p.m. I'm done with the pictures, and it's so much work, but the work will be so worth it. I have to think too, as Susie has mentioned before in conversations. Did the city even bother to look? Did they even bother to check it out? I said probably not. 8:30 p.m. Susie wrote, what did you get done today? I wrote, I was just getting my phone to message you and tell you I just got done with the pictures and the pictures descriptions. How weird. Thanks for checking on me. Did you find out if we can download pictures? Susie wrote, I will check into it in a little bit. I just finished eating. I wrote, all right. At 9:02 p.m., Susie called. She said, we can upload the pictures and the overlay picture. I said, really? She said, yes. And Susie sounds excited, and I am too. We didn't talk long, but I'm happy to hear we can upload the pictures and the overlay picture. I'm so proud of you, Susie, and of myself. July 27th, 2022. This morning when I woke up, I feel positive about doing all of this. I'm excited and I know I have to do it to get it done. And I will. I worked on getting the pictures in order and worked on editing the timeline some more. And if it's worth working for, work for it. 4:37 p.m. when Madison came in from work, we went to the cemetery. We visit with both Megan and Wyatt, and yes, I took pictures. 8:05 p.m. Susie sent a message. She wrote, "Give me a few minutes and I will call you." I wrote, "All right. I just got the pictures on the flash drive, so give me a few minutes to get home." Susie wrote, "Oh, all right." 8:58 p.m. Susie wrote, "Are you home?" I wrote, "Yes, I just walked in the door." Susie wrote, "Oh, all right." I wrote, "I'll call you in a few minutes." I called Susie. I called to check in with her. We only had a few minutes on the phone, but she said she would call me back. And when she called me back, we listened to the recording. She deleted the recording we didn't need anymore. She checked to make sure everything is in working order, and we are so proud that it is. I told Susie I will copy the last bit of information for the descriptions of the pictures, and I will put it all in the envelope and mail it in the morning. Susie said excitedly, "We are doing this." I said, "Yes, we are. And we are not stopping there either. We are going to keep moving with this podcast to draft laws about this so no one else can go through this." Susie said, "Yes, that's some great ideas." And yes, we are. 9:28 p.m. we listened to the introduction again. Susie said, "It gives me the chills." I said, "It did?" Susie said, "Yes, it's good the way it is." I said, "All right, thank you. I'm so proud." Susie said, "Now, after you do the first episode, let them know if they have questions or comments, they can send it to your email." I said, "Okay, thank you for reminding me of that." Susie said, "You don't have to tell them after every episode, but maybe after every other one." I said, "Oh, all right." And I'm so happy Susie's on my side. I asked Susie for her address so I have it and I don't have to look for it, so I can send her the packet of pictures and the flash drive. She gave it to me. I said, "Oh, one more thing. After each episode, let's post the pictures instead of the people waiting until the end of the story, and they don't have to go back to find them." Susie said, "Yes, we will. Give me a little time to figure out how that works." I said, "All right," because I think that will be better for the listeners and the viewers of the pictures. And she agrees. We finished shortly after, and Susie and I hung up. And it's like a sigh of relief. I have another step done, and I'm getting closer to telling Megan's story. July 28, 2022. This morning I am raring to go. I got ready to mail the packet to Susie. 11:39 a.m. It's mailed, the pictures and flash drive packet. 12:28 p.m. I sent Susie a picture of the receipt. I wrote, "By 6 p.m. tomorrow." Susie wrote, "All right." I wrote, "Let me know if you get it at that time, because if not, I get a refund." We're one step closer, sister. I love you and thank you so much, Susie. Susie wrote, "All right, I will. I know I have to stay positive. I know I have to stay hopeful. I know God is on my side, and I know my angels are too." 4:47 p.m. Susie sent me a picture of a cardinal. I wrote, "That will work. We need a picture for the cover page of our podcast, and I believe something like that will work." And I'm excited to get this started. Oh my gosh, 4 more days. Susie said last night if we don't get the first episode on Monday, we will Tuesday for sure. And I'm ready, Susie. July 29th, 2022. My morning seems to be so much easier to get out of bed and face the day. I know what I need to do, and I will get it done. And thank you, Susie, again for all your help. And I know I say that a lot, but I appreciate all of the help. I sent Susie a message. I wrote, Susie, on my Google Chrome, I'm ready, but a lot of it didn't edit. I think because I edited on my laptop and not on my Chromebook. I tried to record, but I need you. So when you get time to go and delete that recording I did today, I have to start again. Save the introduction though. 1:08 p.m. Susie wrote, oh, okay. I will call you later. You can delete the recording that you don't want. Just right-click on the right bottom button on the mouse at the recording. I wrote, oh, all right. Susie wrote, if you want me to delete it, I will tonight. I wrote, I will try with instructions, but if I can't get it, you will have to. Susie wrote, oh, all right. 1:30 p.m. I wrote, I deleted it. I'm doing another practice. Susie wrote, good for you. 3:52 p.m. Susie wrote, I received your mail today a few minutes ago. I wrote, oh, good. I'm trying to record. I've had to try a few different times, but when I record for 18 minutes and it sounds crackly, I start over. Yes, call me later after work. Susie wrote, all right, I will. And I practice off and on this afternoon to record and to get it right. I know it won't be perfect, although I wish it could be, but I will get it as close as I can. 7:39 p.m. Susie wrote, I will call you soon. I wrote, okay. Well, I will call you as soon as I get home. Not too long though. Susie wrote, oh, okay. 8:47 p.m. I called Susie. We were only able to talk at this time for about 5 minutes. She is busy, but will call me back. Susie is helping me set up the podcast. I need to do something to get this story out in the public because obviously no one here is going to listen or help. 9:05 p.m. Susie called. She called to have me do a couple things on the computer, and after we did, we hung up. We were working on the computer and I lost Susie on the camera sharing the screen. 9:10 p.m. I called Susie. We talked for another 5 minutes. Susie said, as soon as I get everything set up, I will call you. I said, all right. 9:21 p.m. Susie called. We talked a little while. She told me what she had done. I can now record and save the recording to the timeline. After we hung up, I worked and I practiced recording until 11:30 p.m. And when I was finished, I sat here for a few minutes thinking, I just wish I could start reading for an hour and it would all be done. I went to bed. Have a good night. July 30th, 2022. When I woke up and after I thank God for waking me up, I'm anxious about getting the recording done. 11:22 a.m. I have about how to read the timeline on the podcast. I ask myself, should I put it in my own words or should I read it as I have it written in the timeline? I prayed for the answer. I finished cleaning, and before I get started, I'm standing in the kitchen and I'm thinking about how to read it out. And it came to me. Read it how it is written. I took a deep breath and started to cry. I took a few more deep breaths and I looked up and I said, thank you. I stood there for a few minutes and thought, It is better to read it off as I have it written, because what if I'm telling an important part and I forget to put something in or forget a date? So, yes, I agree. I will read it as it is written. 12:32 p.m. I call Susie. We were only able to talk about 3 minutes, but at 12:33 p.m. I sent Susie 2 pictures of the recording. 2:26 p.m. I finished the first part, episode 1. After I'm done, I did ask the audience to stay kind with their comments and questions. I left an email address for them to send me comments if they would like. I'm excited and I feel proud of myself for getting this done. I asked Susie, after episode 1 and 2, we need to upload the pictures for that area of the story. Susie responded, yes, we will. 9:27 p.m. Susie sent a message saying, she wrote, I'm sorry I fell asleep. We can do this tomorrow. I wrote, yes, that's fine. I'm going to try to load another one. I'm not sure if I'm doing it right, but you can check on it tomorrow or whenever you want to look. Susie wrote, all right. I then worked on recording and loading them. I believe it is just for practice, so I will practice as much as I can. I worked on it until I went to bed. July 31st, 2022. Wow. This morning I'm having a feeling of, not a doubtful feeling, but a self-doubt of a date or year I may have made a mistake on. I will have to double check. 2:00 p.m. I sent Susie a message. I wrote, if you haven't listened to any of the episodes yet, let me know if I have to start over. And thank you lots. Susie wrote, all right. I wrote, listen closely to the dates or any mistakes in them, okay? 2:08 p.m. I messaged Jen. I wrote, seriously, when you read my story, have you or did you read or find any mistakes in the dates or years? Anything? Let me know when you get a chance. 2:13 p.m. Susie called. We talked for about 6 minutes. I asked her the same thing I asked Jen. 2:18 p.m. Jen replies. She wrote, no, never. You've always been good about the dates and the years and even the times. You've done great. Susie said the same thing. Susie said too, your story has always been told the same way. Nothing changes in this story, not the dates, not times. You even know the years. Sis, you've done a great job. Not everyone could do this. I replied to Jen. I wrote, I'm just double checking. I'm going to start recording my story and I want to make sure all of it is good. And thank you, baby. 3:36 p.m. Jen wrote, you are welcome. 7:08 p.m. Susie called. We have only talked a short time, but we call each other when we work on the podcast because we sometimes lose each other on the video. And sometimes I have questions I need answers. And I did work on another episode. 7:55 p.m. I call Susie. This time I need help creating the page at my end. After Susie is done fine-tuning everything, she called me back. We only talked for about 20 minutes and let each other go. 8:32 p.m. Susie messaged. She wrote, I uploaded the pictures you sent me to my computer. 9:15 p.m. I wrote, all right, I got it. I got another recording. It said on the bottom of the recording screen that I recorded for 46 minutes. But when I pushed the stop recording button, It said 31 minutes and 59 seconds. I'm going to re-listen to it, then we can transfer. 9:50 p.m. I wrote, I just listened to it. It's not bad at all. Go ahead if you want and send it over, if you agree. 9:51 p.m. Susie wrote, I had my computer away for the night because I didn't think you would have it ready by 11, so I will go ahead and do it first thing in the morning, and we will continue from there, because we did do quite a bit this evening. It's moving right along, and I'm so proud of you, sister, and I'm proud we will get Megan's story to hopefully the listening ears. Thank you for listening. Stay kind with your words.